Good afternoon. Welcome to Better Connecticut and your Thursday. We're almost to the weekend. I'm Kara Santos.
Welcome to All Things Oprah. Didn't we start the show with Oprah yesterday?
It's not a bad thing when we start talking about Oprah, is it?
Oprah. We're still talking about Oprah.
Well, you know, she's Oprah.
She is Oprah.
She's Oprah.
She's in People magazine, and that's why we're talking about her.
And she's mentioning 5 things. People magazine, the newsstand hits tomorrow, but a little preview because she's talking about the 5 things that changed her life. And one we talked about a little bit yesterday, that she moved from Milwaukee to Nashville. And if that hadn't happened, left her mother's house to go live in Nashville, then perhaps she said she would have never even become even anything close to what she's become.
Leaping from Baltimore to Chicago, she said she found a boss willing to take a risk, that her contract was set to expire, but they were willing to they had to wait for her contract to expire, and they were willing to wait for her, which is so awesome, because
that's
not very often that somebody is going to say, hey, sit it out and we're going to wait for you.
Because I guess her Baltimore boss said, no, well, you can go, but not till your contract is over. We're not letting you out even a minute early. And
exactly.
So the other people waited and let her start a talk show.
Which is just great, a local talk show. Can you imagine having a local talk show?
I mean,
wow.
See? And look what happened to Oprah.
Look what happened to Oprah.
She says she didn't get married to Stedman because her feeling was that he's a traditional guy, but this is a completely untraditional relationship. If I become the wife, now I've got to play by the rules of whatever that is, and that would not have been pretty. Both he and I now say if we had married, we would not be together.
I don't understand that. I don't know.
So, well, that's her opinion. That's how she, anyway, so she chose not to have children.
So some people just choose not to get married. They stay together, they love each other, they're in a committed relationship, they just choose not to get married.
She didn't want all the rules and wrapping that go with marriage, she thought.
Well, what's the difference whether you're together with somebody? It's like a marriage, even though there's no, certificate.
Right.
I don't know. That's what
and maybe just the fact that you could leave anytime you wanted means you won't.
And we talked about swearing off sensational television in 1989. Exactly. It's a good point you just made there. Let's go back to that one. Excuse me. She swore off sensational television in 1989, and the affiliates started calling. Your numbers are dropping. What are you doing?
Can't we just have Trashy Fridays once a week?
Trashy Fridays once a week. Can't you at least do it once a week? And she was like, I am not doing this. And then look at the success.
The cream always rises to the top.
That's what Denise DeCenzo always used to tell me.
Oh.
Yeah, she said, stick it out, because when I started here, a couple of the critics were not too favorable for me. And she said, you stick it out. The cream always rises to the top of the cup of coffee. And I said, all right, Denise, I'm going to do it.
You're going to be the cream.
I'm going to be the cream.
Yeah,
and here I am, 21 years later and curdled.
Okay. Also, People magazine is taking you inside some glamorous celebrity homes. This is a look at Jenny McCarthy and Donnie Wahlberg's home.
Didn't know they were married, so I learned something new today. That's really good.
Okay, he'll catch up, everybody. It's okay. Anyway, that's their nice home.
I love being just looking into people's homes and seeing how they live, and seeing the accoutrement that they have surrounded themselves with, different kitchens and how they prepare their meals, and I'm just fascinated by this stuff.
Are they going to take us in their kitchen? What's that? Ooh, that's a big island. I like that island.
Wow.
They have cereal. Oh, and the nice boxes there.
You know, and Donnie Wahlberg grew up with like 9 siblings, or however many siblings he had, with very little money, from what I understand. And look at the rise to fame. He's in Blue Bloods, correct?
Correct.
Correct. Are you watching?
Well, I do love that show.
You binge watch.
I'm a little off on catching up, but I do love that show.
Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan, they're going to move. They want to move. Well, they're thinking about moving to Canada.
There's some sources saying that it's on the table, that perhaps they'd go back to Toronto. They could, because it's still part of the Commonwealth, I guess, within the
British,
rules.
Yeah, sure.
And that she loved living there because that's where she lived when she was filming Suits. I know also the stylist, that's her best friend, and she's in Toronto.
And you know what? Maybe they can get away from the paparazzi. Maybe the Canadians will treat them much better. Who knows? That's what I'm thinking. There's some kind of impetus to get them to.
Remember when Madonna decided to move to London? She crossed the pond the other way.
Yeah, but she came back with a British accent. How does that happen? You don't just get an accent. You come back, you still talk like you're from Long Island. Like I'm from Long Island.
She's from Michigan.
She's from Michigan. She'd come back and talk like she's from Michigan. She should talk like me. She should talk like Kara. Not from. Come back. I've been there for 2 years. I speak like this now. No, speak to how you speak.
All right, Kevin Hart is going back to work after that horrible car crash that he was in. He is going to be, he ended up suing for $60 million, right? So.
Yeah, he was going back to work. It was almost, a life-changing crash there. And that, what was it, a Dodge? Plymouth? It was like a Plymouth, like one of the older cars. A classic car.
He fractured his 1970 Plymouth Barracuda. Okay. right? 1978 Plymouth Barracuda, it says.
Whatever.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, Jamie was wrong. This is all right. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
It's all right. We're good. This is what I want to be for Halloween. Betty White.
Oh, you can't. The Golden Girls, all the costumes are sold out.
You got to be, well, I'm
It was
thinking.
so popular.
I can go to consignment and get these, right?
Next year.
Or I can go to Goodwill.
You could just pretend to dress up. You can't get the, apparently.
That's Ruth McClanahan right there, right?
Yeah, so the Golden Girls Halloween costumes have already sold out. Who is
That's the grandmother. I mean,
So
the
you would
mother.
want to be,
Estelle Getty's, thank you, Rich. That's Maud, obviously.
and so which one do you want to be?
The Arthur. I'd be any of them, to be perfectly honest with you.
Who's your Golden Girl? Who's your alter ego?
Definitely. You think Betty White? No, I'm thinking.
I was thinking Blanche.
I'm thinking
you.
Blanche. Yeah.
For you.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah, you're Blanche.
Yeah,
I'll
totally.
be Betty White.
Well, with Halloween rapidly approaching, Google has revealed the Halloween costume ideas that have been searched the most frequently. And what are they, Kara?
Okay, this makes sense. My son actually wants to be Pennywise. Apparently, so does everybody. The #1 costume is Pennywise from It, Stephen King's scary movie, the crazy clown.
I can't even.
So don't
I
go
can't even read
outside.
the prompter.
Right.
No less see the movie.
Stranger Things, any costumes from Stranger Things? That's what Helena wants to do. And Spider-Man is always a hit.
Spider-Man is always a hit. They're saying, still some of the populars, Star Wars, they're still being Googled, and a bunch of other things out there.
Fortnite costumes.
Things I've never heard of. So good luck.